Hello everyone, welcome to another session. This session will discuss about objects and classes. As you know, Java is object-oriented programming, and everything is associated with a class and objects, along with its attributes and methods, meaning that every object has an attribute and a method. What's an attribute? Attribute is data attribute, or what's called the state, meaning that, for example, a person has hands, legs, mouth, head, all that means a state. That's called attribute. Things by default that comes with the object. And then the methods, those are what's called the behavior. What do you do with that state? So every object has a state and behavior. Another name for it is every object has attributes and methods. So the attribute is the state, things that comes with it by default, and the method is what do you do with that state. So, for example, in real life, a car is an object. The car has attributes such as weight and color, and methods such as drive and brake and so forth. An animal has legs, has a tail, and then the method would be, wagging the tail for a dog and so forth. Now, in previous chapters, you have seen the basics, what you need for programming. Arrays, loops, decisions, and so forth. Now we have to extend that. The whole idea for Java object-oriented programming is for usability, and Chapter 9 kind of extends that. Class provide more flexible and modularity for building usable software. Is the plan. So this section includes solutions for problem introduced in Chapter 3 using object-oriented approach. So I just wanted to kind of go over this and show you some examples, since you will need to create objects and classes for your labs. So now within the Java, you have what's called some terms that you need to be familiar with. Inheritance is an example, a very important term. Inheritance means that a child, first of all, classes have what's called children, and it has the parent. So the original class is called the parent, or it's called the superclass, and the child is called the subclass. So the child inherits the parent, whatever the parent had. So that's one term. Another term that you need to be familiar with in class is polymorphism. Polymorphism just means many forms. If I write it for you so you can see it, it's poly. So polymorphism just means many terms, and then the other term I just mentioned for you is inheritance. Inheritance means that a child inherits, or the subclass inherits the parents. Whatever the parent has, the child inherits. So I just wanted to show you an example of how you actually do as far as coding as you write or work on your labs. So let's say we have a teacher that teaches at a certain college, and then that teacher, the subject that they teach, so the general stuff is mentioned in the parent class, and then the child class will mention the specifics of that. So here I wanted to create a parent teacher, and let's call that class maybe a teacher is here. Using Rectal, you add another file, or so we just say add a file. So here we will call that, let's say, a teacher. So we have our main class, and then we have our teacher class. In our teacher class, when you start for a class, you say class, and then you give it a name. So in this case, this class is called the teacher. And then we will put the general stuff that we want to put in the attributes and the methods here. So we will start with a string and call the designation of this variable, call it It's kind of slow. Call it a teacher. And then we have another variable. And again, these are basically the attributes. And then let's use camel case. And then we would write the method now. So we have the method in this case. Job. This is the method. Basically, what does this teacher do? Right? So we'll say teacher. Okay, so that would be our parent class, and then we will go to the main and create the other class. So the main class. So here we will say the class main. We would use the word extends, and then the class it extends. So in this case, we want to extend it the feature class. Okay, so the feature class will be created, and our main class it will extend to teachers, what we are saying. Now here, we will write string, and then main subject, and then say Python. So I need to put this. This is the variable that I'm defining, or the attribute. It goes in the main class as an attribute. And then here we'll say this class main that we are creating here, main object, we initialize it. So we'll say new, and then main. And now we print this out. So we'll say system. System.out, that print line. So we say object. So we want to print the college name. I don't know, the screen's kind of slow. I'm typing, you just copy it and paste it. So you want to print the designation. Remember these are in the other class teacher. And then the main subject, which is right here. We want to call the method. And let's run that. And it seems as maybe we are missing a brace here. Let's run that. What did it say? Call it name. Cannot find symbol. So what do we call it here? So we have designation, and then we have call it name, so job. So what he does, we call it job. So let's call that a job and then run it. So we have another issue. So we have teacher here. Teacher, anything. Class. Teacher. String. Designation. Teacher. College. Name. And we have void. Job. So we have class main extends teacher, string main subject Python, public static void. So it's not recognizing it in here. Let's see if we can class main extends teacher. Hopefully it doesn't delete my information. Let's see. So system kind of slow. So let me run the game one more time. So it still has issues. So another way we can do is we can run this. Maybe Reptile, the way it works is different. So let me run it here. And put it above here. And run it. So when I run it in the same file, it works fine. So maybe I'm not logged in. I didn't create a username. That's why it's not recognizing it. And the work needs to be saved. So as you see here, I have a class called teacher. I define the attributes and the method. And then I created another class called main that extends it. So here you will see it will show the main PPCCT teacher, Python, and on this, what he does. And of course, you can make it look better and format it so that it is self-explanatory for each item. So that's basically an inheritance. This is classes. We created object that inherits another one. So, and that's basically it about classes and object reusability. So one of the labs that you have to do, and you are extending one lab to another, you can just put it in the same place. If you're logged in and saved, I think this would work fine because I know I've tested it before. But if you use it in the same place, that's also fine. That you create the parent class and then you create the child class, show that it's inheriting by putting extents in there. You can create some of the attributes here, and then you can create the methods here, and then you're inheriting and then having your own method and also your own attribute. You can do that here as well. So that's all I wanted to show you. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something.